An abstract war in which a twisted evil god engulfs this world and merges into one. Unconditional sex and absolute perfect assimilation form the paradise of the fourth natural disaster in the form of transformation, and finally collapse or despair. No one knows, but at least, peace has been born, and the birth of nothingness has constituted a new world. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. The Power of Being Fern. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The green snail has been caught. She was bound to a soft bed in various ways, looking at the black-haired lowly in front of her with a look of fear and malice. She is the protagonist of this book, Su Xiaoxiao, and she, Qing Luo, was once not like this. Why, exactly why? She fell into such a terrible situation where there was no way to resist. Do you know that from childhood to adulthood, even the heavens have been taking care of me? The girl sat by the bed, reaching out her finger to pick up a strand of green snail's long hair. You say, I am beautiful and have a good personality. Will the heavens leave the most precious things for me? Why did you do this? Qingluo's face was a bit angry, transforming her once male self into this kind of appearance, like a doll-like white-haired lowly, with a delicate and exquisite face that was so beautiful that it was delicious. The incredibly young Fengman's body was undoubtedly what the woman in front of her did. It's very simple. I want to have you, and I want everything about you to belong to me. Su Xiaoxiao said with a sickly smile on her stunning face. So, even if you are a villain with a high degree of evil and profit, I still want to make you, who is so lowly and ugly at the bottom of my bones, completely belong to me. After all, the scent on your body is so sweet and now, you have no way to resist it. Su Xiaoxiao spoke like this, getting close to the other person and casually touching them. At this moment, Qing Luo felt goosebumps all over her body, struggling hard but completely powerless to resist. It seems like you still hate me, brother. After all, under this potion, you have completely become a lowly. Your identity, your genes, have completely disappeared from this world. No one else will know about you except me, and now you can only rely on me. After all, your body has become a weak and powerless little lowly, so, brother, you have to do something to please me in order to survive. If you don't want to suffer, it's best to let go of your teeth. Su Xiaoxiao said with some displeasure, her white and tender hand being bitten by the green snail at this moment, and she had no intention of letting go. The flesh and blood on the back of Su Xiaoxiao's hand were torn to death, and the angry Qing Luo made such a retaliatory act. But at this moment, Su Xiaoxiao's face showed an extremely excited and somewhat happy expression. It's really regrettable. Brother, you did the wrong thing, so you need to be bullied by me hard. As Su Xiaoxiao spoke, she carefully placed her palm in front of Qing Luo at this moment. The small wound quickly sprouted granulation, and then healed at an extremely fast speed. However, terrifying force could not emerge at this moment. Su Xiaoxiao is undoubtedly a monster for Qing Luo at this moment. Qing Luo is a fast-dressing person specifically responsible for villains. This time, as usual, he chose villains to perform, but never expected to stumble in this performance. Despite following the grand finale, the other party did nothing and ended up killing himself. But unfortunately, at this moment, the other person's gaze was filled with love, as if they were looking at some supreme treasure. After opening their own tendons, they fed themselves strange potions. And then she turned into such a big bear named Lowly. What a desperate ending this is. Chapter 2. System Failure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Countless memories, helpless memories slowly echoed through the mind of Qing Luo at this moment. She is also very clear about the situation she is in at this moment, but there is often an unwillingness in her heart. How could one allow oneself to willingly become the other's slave? The answer is certainly not allowed. or in other words, this kind of thing is absolutely not allowed. But at the same time, he calmed down again, until the series of symptoms just now were just useless. I was simply put in a position by the other party before falling into the current situation. Now that my strength and gender have been completely transformed, I naturally have no way to resist her, nor can I resist this level of invasion. There is no one to follow in this basement, and there is nothing that can be done without any resistance. What should be done? At this moment, Qingluo's simple thinking extended for a long time, revealing a slight light. However, it quickly dissipated the strong sense of vigilance within itself, because Qingluo was very clear about her body and had undoubtedly weakened. Let the other party attack like this, let the other party continue with such a series of attacks. I can only mourn helplessly. After realizing this, Qingluo didn't say anything at this moment. Her petite body quietly and peacefully screamed along with the movements of the other person she knew. At this moment, Su Xiaoxiao also felt a bit bored. The other party completely gave up their struggle, but instead made themselves feel a bit disinterested, wanting to bully him and look at their expressions without any interest. Don't you plan to continue struggling? Su Xiaoxiao said with a question, getting close to the other person's face. What's the point of struggling? Qingluo tilted her head and spoke in confusion. At this moment, the girl's face also changed slightly, because the other person's face and expression were too similar. It's so similar. That was the expression on the face when the plan was successful, as if the other party had just done something they didn't know, but everything about the other party was under their control, and their spirit was also branded by themselves. Although the other party didn't do anything, it made Su Xiaoxiao subconsciously uneasy at this moment. After all, the person in front of me is not an ordinary person, at least in the eyes of Su Xiaoxiao at this moment. He is an inhumane scumbag, yet full of high intelligence. Every time you show such a planned expression, you can clearly feel that something has been completely completed. This kind of thing really makes people feel angry and unwilling, as if they have completely penetrated all their strategies. Thinking of this, Su Xiaoxiao's white and tender hands tightly pressed against the delicate cheeks of the other person, pinching them while Su Xiaoxiao fiercely pressed against her ears. You'd better not play any tricks on me, all your actions will be discovered by me. At this time, the green snail is somewhat inexplicable. Qingluo's face kept turning red and dizzy, and she hadn't recovered from the attack just now. However, there was also a hint of mockery in her eyes. Is that all? The expression on Qingluo's face pondered for a long time, which was different from her originally shy and panting body. At this moment, Qingluo had actually figured out an answer, which was that her body had been successfully controlled by the other party, so the body she portrayed naturally had to disguise itself a bit. Qingluo is very good at pretending, or in other words, very good at pretending to be what the other person thinks, because Qingluo is very clear about what the other person is thinking, and what the other person wants is to become a slave who chooses to teach well. So in that case, why not just pretend to be a completed slave? So Qingluo just chose this form and just obediently looked at the other party. I won't struggle, said Qingluo, with a hint of melancholy flashing on her soft, cute and delicate face. With an extreme sense of fragmentation, Qingluo's delicate temperament, like a doll, made Su Xiaoxiao feel an unbearable impulse at this moment. Hee. I know what you're thinking, so the thing calling itself a system seems to want to take away your soul, Su Xiaoxiao said as the darkness in her eyes grew stronger. But I won't give up on you, so after a little bit of tinkering here, I think it's probably time. Ding! The system has been subjected to an unknown attack, security measures have been activated, unbinding has begun, unbinding is complete. A sound suddenly flashed in his mind, and the pupils of Qingluo couldn't help but shrink. How could such a thing be possible? I thought that simply maintaining the current state was enough to quickly detach and proceed to the next task, but now the system has unbound. She was scared and panicked, with a satisfied expression on Su Xiaoxiao's face. Yes, that's the expression of immense fear. That's right, show more and let me appreciate it, appreciate it. Thinking this way, Su Xiaoxiao was excited and once again flipped the clouds and waves over the sea towards Qing Luo. This is not true, no, this is definitely not true. The expression on Qing Luo's face was once again overshadowed by despair, but those eyes, which were dark with a hint of red and mysterious like abyss, were always unable to see through the emotions inside. It's so boring, showing this desperate expression, it's really boring. Qing Luo is a bit tired of portraying this identity, she feels a bit bored. This behavior in the basement lasted for a long time because there was no way to confirm the exact time. Qing Luo only fainted time and time again, and then recorded the time of his fainting. I have fainted a total of 13 times, each time waking up in pain. As a former male, I am completely unable to adapt to the pleasure of women, and instead feel powerless when bullied by Su Xiaoxiao. However, Qing Luo's brain was not damaged, or in other words, despite feeling this way, he had an extremely clear feeling, realizing the state of his body's processing with an extremely clear mind. The more it is like this, the more it feels powerless. On the contrary, she has sobered up. From now on, you should call me Master. If you don't call me Master, I'll call you Master until you call me Master. Su Xiaoxiao looked at the green snail with a toy-like expression, then pushed the room open and left. So, how long did it take? It seems like it's time for free activities now, and you can do some things you need to do. Qing Luo moved her completely powerless body, thinking inwardly about what to do next. Chapter 3. Tentacles. Squeezed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Xiaoxiao is really excessive. Qing Luo feels like her legs are almost gone. Qing Luo's gaze swept around the narrow basement, and the walls were covered in damp mold, emitting a cold and gloomy atmosphere. The faint light filtered through the old candles hanging in the corner of the wall, casting a blurry and twisted shadow in the dimness. In the corner of the basement, several rusty metal buckets were quietly stacked, making a creaking sound, as if telling an unknown story. The ground was covered with thick and dusty spider webs, swaying gently in the wind like a trap woven out of a ghost. A damp and musty smell emanated from the damp walls, spreading through the dark and cold basement, making one feel suffocated. The ancient and weathered wooden table in the center of the basement was covered in thick dust, as if it had been forgotten by time. Next to the wooden table is an ancient and dilapidated bookshelf, on which several yellowed, cracked books and papers are placed, shimmering with eerie light in the dim light. She looked at her body again and slowly left from the state of being tied up, but still wearing handcuffs and ankle cuffs. However, these are not any problems at all. Although my body has become extremely weak, it is still not a problem to just break free from this restriction. Or perhaps this kind of thing is of no use to the green snail at this moment. After all, these things have no magical limitations and are really weak. The crisp sound of bones rang out, and the green snail held its hands tightly against each other, constantly pinching its own bones. The creaking sound of bones made Qing Luo endure pain, causing her hands to dislocate. Her delicate and soft little hands quickly became soft and limp, drooping weakly. Then came the laborious effort, constantly pulling and slowly breaking free from the handcuffs. Soon, the handcuffs fell to the ground, and Green Snail forcefully dislocated her hands and took them back. Green Snail's hands were tightly pressed against her white legs, and slowly moved from the silky soft skin to her ankles. Oh, to be honest, the white silk on the quilt was quite comfortable, but it was hard for Green Snail to understand the look of Su Xiaoxiao tearing them. Qing Luo forcefully pulled her hair apart, tightly holding the snow-white and smooth hair in her hand. Then, she slowly inserted it into the keyhole of the handcuffs. With a grope, the handcuffs were also opened, and the limitations of her body were completely lifted. For the brothel at this moment, these things were not a big deal. That's weird. A faint magic suddenly surged around, causing Qing Luo to feel a bit panicked at this moment. The entire soft bed suddenly became sticky and greasy, with countless pink tentacles drilling out. In almost an instant, it once again tied the green snail in all its colors. Wow! Qing Luo Mian couldn't help but let out a mournful cry about this situation, her face full of panic. But soon he calmed down and faced a series of tidal attacks, which in turn pushed down the tentacles at this moment. She also had some understanding of the technique of squeezing and drying the succubus, but Su Xiaoxiao's plan to give birth to flowers was miscalculated at this moment. Qing Luo, in turn, used her tentacles as a tool to supplement her magic and devoured it one after another. A weak but quite useful magic for oneself. Chapter 4. Punishing Power. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This kind of tentacle has a really bad taste. Qing Luo had a seductive physique before, so she can only adapt to women's cooking without any problems. Qing Luo used some means to squeeze these tentacles dry overnight, slowly recovering his physical strength, leaving only the tentacles completely devoid of any moisture on the bedside. The magical power of blood slowly formed within the delicate body of Qing Luo at this moment. She slowly stood up with trembling legs, then took a step forward, while carefully observing herself through the reflection in the nearby bucket of water. The white and delicate face of Loli, with a petite body that exudes a strong sense of masculinity, a graceful waist, and small legs all prove the allure hidden in her body. With the continuous honing just now, her body's charm is slowly improving. At the same time, the sound of footsteps slowly rang out, and at this moment, Su Xiaoxiao was slowly approaching the basement. You're really on guard. Qing Luo thought nonchalantly, as she had no intention of escaping directly. After all, the entire system has been attacked, and she doesn't think she can escape, or rather, at the cost of failing to escape from this world, her inner anger is getting higher and higher. Since there is no way to escape from this world, then continuing with this method and forcibly destroying the body at this moment is completely irrelevant. When thinking carefully, Su Xiaoxiao's figure appeared from far to near in front of Qing Luo at this moment. You're really bold and reckless, planning to escape. Su Xiaoxiao said with a slightly gloomy expression. Why can't you escape? After all, you're just a miscellaneous fish. This trap is too weak. Qing Luo said with a disdainful expression. The gloomy expression on Su Xiaoxiao's face became increasingly heavy. So, it's just for you to see my strength well. Su Xiaoxiao finished his novel and took out a potion from his lotus root pie with the word Tuda written on it, then slowly drank it with a thud. An astonishing existence suddenly emerged, and the green snail took a half step back, watching the beast approach. Since that's the case, let me tell you well what kind of punishment there is. Su Xiaoxiao, who helped her transform, slowly approached, like a wild beast capturing prey. Qing Luo was such a delicious prey. Suddenly, the two of them started fighting again. The cries kept ringing out. After the end of the war, Qing Luo lay weakly on the bed, feeling that her body was truly devoid of resistance. The boundless magic undoubtedly devours oneself, but at the same time, the feeling of powerlessness in the body slowly falls into one's own body. The powerful combat power that she had never imagined, completely unexpected, made her feel a bit dazed. At this moment, Qing Luo couldn't help but obey. Or, in other words, it was the strong and powerful force of Su Xiaoxiao who couldn't help but obey. With my current abilities, I can't squeeze this guy dry. This kind of T-shaped body has become so weak, and those weak tentacles can barely be hard, but this guy has no way to deal with it. Qing Luo thought with some distress in her heart, but her eyes slowly calculated her next actions and what she needed to pay attention to. Meanwhile, Su Xiaoxiao picked up a whip in his hand. Don't think this is the case, the punishment is over. We must teach you well what punishment is for disobeying your master's orders. This guy is trying to make her more mature. Chapter 5. Electric Shock Force. You are listening at novelfull.audio. That guy is really outrageous. Surprisingly, he applied some medicine on the whip, which looks ordinary. So when it comes to whipping, the green snail becomes so intense, and the resistance within will become stronger and stronger. However, even if there was no such behavior, this reaction made people feel even more adorable, making Su Xiaoxiao feel incredibly cute and even more eager to bully him properly. Such a lovely guy should be bullied well to make people feel satisfied in their hearts, especially if the other party intends to resist them and must do something even more outrageous. After thinking about it all, I stopped my hand movements and looked at the other person with loving pupils but losing their highlights. This look is really cute and adorable. The green snail showed a charming smile at the corner of its eyes, looking at the completely messed up green snail. You should know you're wrong now, you know how excessive it is to resist me, you absolutely can't resist me. Speaking like this, Su Xiaoxiao successfully placed the collar in her hand on the soft neck of Qing Luo, and her expression became increasingly gentle. At this moment, Qing Luo was powerless to struggle and looked at herself, slowly losing her freedom. With the electric shock collar on her body, she might miss herself anytime, anywhere. This is a transmission of microelectric currents, which can cause a tingling sensation in one's body when stimulated. In addition, the feeling of whipping makes the green snail very clear at this moment, and the drug is trying to make oneself fall in love. Falling in love with the feeling of being humiliated in a mess. The more I think about it, the more my wonderful anger rises, and I will never become that kind of person. Are you joking? I definitely wouldn't. However, I'm just a miscellaneous fish owner. Perhaps due to the medication or cognitive modification, Qing Luo had to call Su Xiaoxiao the master at this moment, and the tone that seemed like a female ghost completely ignited Su Xiaoxiao's inner excitement. After all, when facing a female ghost or something, you just need to give it a hard beating. Su Xiaoxiao's heart was filled with malicious thoughts. The malicious Su Xiaoxiao wanted to see the other person, completely giving up the struggle and completely losing hope. Simply losing the highlight in her eyes could not satisfy Su Xiaoxiao at this moment. The more the other party was like this, the more Su Xiaoxiao wanted to see the pitiful appearance of having to beg for mercy. Just thinking about this made her heart even more excited, and that emotion grew even higher. No, it's just this level. If it's just this level, it won't make me surrender, Master Miscellaneous Fish. Qing Luo collapsed to the ground, her eyes slightly fierce as she said. Since that's the case, let me roll out so much that you have to give in. Su Xiaoxiao's face darkened, and the weapon in her hand became much sharper. She launched an almost undisguised moment towards the opponent, and the fierce attack made Qing Luo have to make cute screams. And, one after another, followed by violent attacks, seeing the other person struggling without any resistance, it makes people feel even more excited. Little by little, he poked open his delicate skin, revealing his bloody side in front of him. The crushing force grew stronger and stronger, and the green snail could no longer bear the painful cries, which became even more intense. Chapter 6. Joy. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But at this moment it was clearly a moment that made Su Xiaoxiao feel satisfied, but at the same time, it became no longer satisfying. Because, despite being a bruised green snail with empty and desperate eyes, the inexplicable feeling is too fake. That false feeling is really too intense. This guy hasn't revealed his true side at all, or in other words, he hasn't revealed his true side at all from the beginning. This panicked and powerless side is definitely just an illusion. Xiao, don't play tricks on me. Your acting skills can deceive others, but you absolutely can't deceive me. Su Xiaoxiao shouted loudly as she tightly gripped the green snail with both hands. And at this moment, after Qing Luo, a white-haired lowly, was hit, she felt true happiness attacking her. Although her face showed that false expression again, the corner of her mouth suddenly curved upward slightly. I don't understand, owner of the mixed fish. In other words, keep going. Why not keep going? They will definitely obey the owner's most genuine thoughts. With such similar attributes, you definitely want to see a pet that has been adjusted. That pair of eyes, enough to see everything in her heart, made Su Xiaoxiao feel a little chilly at this moment. Why doesn't this guy feel a little overwhelmed in his heart? You have all been treated so fiercely by yourself, why? Why? If it were me, I wouldn't be able to bear this level long ago. Not willing to let the roar spread in his heart, the complete displeasure made Su Xiaoxiao's delicate and stunning face slightly distorted at this moment. Why can you persist? You bastard is just my little pet. Angry Su Xiaoxiao increased his strength in his hand, playing freely while increasing his battery. Even during maternity leave, Qing Luo made an electric sound. Hee, electricity. Under the stimulation of such an electric current, the green snail burst into laughter instead. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha, ha ha. That was a twisted smile, making people feel a chill in their hearts. Even Su Xiaoxiao at this moment felt the temperature in her heart and back constantly decreasing. Because it's a lot of fun. This is the first time I've enjoyed the feeling of being treated like this after being sexually transferred, and even if the system has already been attacked and taken by you, what else can I do? I'm looking forward to my next treatment, and what can I do to escape here? This game is really interesting. It's interesting to say that even if I die, I still have the determination to continue to complete it. That was an incredibly clear and joyful expression, and under the brewing of unbearable blood as a seasoning, it appeared mysterious and evil. The enchanting and sorrowful white-haired loli looked at Su Xiaoxiao at this moment, as if she was the victim, making people's hair stand on end. Please treat me as you please, Master Miscellaneous Fish. Even if you break my hands and feet, it's completely okay. No matter what, it's completely okay. But you must keep an eye on me. After all, if I don't pay attention, it will let my disobedient mother TS escape here. You don't want to just watch me escape here, do you? Chapter 7. Malicious Intention. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The expression on Qingluo's face, who said these words, was devoid of the fear and despair that had just been portrayed. To be precise, it was the fear and despair that had just been portrayed. At this moment, there was no expression on her delicate and cute face. This kind of gaze could not be wrong, absolutely not wrong, it was what Su Xiaoxiao understood as Qing Luo. She has been pretending to be garlic all along. As soon as he thought of such a thing, his inner anger burned irreversibly. Qing Luo was extraordinary, a true villain who extinguished humanity. All he could think of in his eyes was the scum who made everything more interesting but caused families and families to fall apart one by one. Why are you still so rational? This kind of guy doesn't even care about being played with or becoming completely dependent on others, and even makes it a pleasure. That's really extremely bad. This despicable and deeply ingrained personality, coupled with the extreme hypocrisy of pretending to be garlic, made Su Xiaoxiao even more eager to tear open the transformed and delicate little cute skin in front of her. Hee, you're in a hurry, you're in a hurry. Is there a sense of loss where everything is under your control, but unfortunately everything is not under your control? I know quite well what you want in your heart, and I will give you what you want. Now, I can completely obey you. No matter what kind of command you want to give me, I won't refuse at all. The delicate body of Qing Luo was pressed against each other, and the subtle electric current made the two delicate and snow-white bodies twitch slightly. However, all of this made people feel extremely strange. Yes, this is really too strange. It's really hard to accept that loli, who is constantly being restrained in front of her, suddenly gained control of something at this moment for some reason. No one can accept such a state. Ha! Su Xiaoxiao couldn't help but gasp for breath, and a sense of domination slowly appeared in her eyes. This is what you said. The extremely abnormal thoughts slowly flowed into Su Xiaoxiao's mind, and his palms suddenly exerted force, tightly gripping the other person's neck, making Qing Luo feel a strong sense of suffocation constantly flowing inside his body at this moment. Her body couldn't help but tighten physiologically, and her face also showed a repeated suffocation expression, as if her confident appearance had disappeared without any signs. Now, the weak little loli is her true self. Of course, this level of situation was completely judged in Su Xiaoxiao's eyes at this moment. The other party was indeed pretending, or in other words, the kind of guy he had faced before, which seemed to be extremely bad and constantly disguised after constantly performing. After understanding the system, destroying it, and devouring it, Su Xiaoxiao clearly understood what kind of scumbag like the eyes were. The guy who plays the role in countless trees is undoubtedly a non-human creature created by countless strange things called the main god, and then performs in various worlds. And after having the power to dominate the world and successfully destroying the system, such a guy falls into his own arms, and I want to know more about him. What can I do on my own? For example, when you first turn the other person into a girl and make her pregnant. Chapter 8. Pregnancy. You are listening at novel-Full.audio. Thinking of this, Su Xiaoxiao couldn't help but aim the barrel at her. Do you want to shoot? Qing Luo asked. Of course. Su Xiaoxiao's stunning and extraordinary face showed a winning smile. I want to execute a rightful loli like you on the spot. Strange roar, Su Xiaoxiao pointed the barrel at Qing Luo. Countless chains bind the green snail at this moment, while making it stare blankly at the barrel of the gun that is constantly being loaded with magazine bullets. My body, for no reason, felt a trace of fear spreading in my heart. The barrel of this gun is 30 centimeters long. Now you need to aim it at yourself and start shooting. You need to shoot at the stock of 12 magazines before it breaks down. Her body would definitely not be able to withstand the multi-element magic, but she felt in her heart that she could definitely do it. The sound of gunshots echoed continuously in the basement. Qing Luo suddenly felt her body fragile like a torn ragdoll, completely powerless to resist. Subsequently, the astonishing ability slowly formed a pregnant appearance in the body. Master Xiao, what have you done to me? Qing Luo looked at Su Xiaoxiao with some curiosity, but when she asked, her soft and cute tone also appeared a bit weak. It was obvious that it was difficult to resist these gun punishments, or to survive, which was already fortunate. The continuous gasping and flowing sound, as well as the tingling blood on the scalp, were enough to prove that this gunfight was earth-shattering and demonstrated to everyone. It's very simple, of course, as long as you're pregnant with my child, Su Xiaoxiao said naturally. Qing Luo twisted her head in a silly and cute way. The brain is down. TSK, you must have fallen in love with me, master of miscellaneous fish. You actually want me to get pregnant and have children or something? Qing Luo pursed her lips and said in an incredulous tone. No, I just let you be my breeding tool. Su Xiaoxiao said arrogantly, but her eyes were a bit guilty. Well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the children generated by magic can be born soon. You can let me have as many as you want, whether it's forming a football team, watching football fields, or occupying the entire planet with some outrageous novels. Speaking these words, Qing Luo's body seemed completely fine and couldn't stand up, as if she had never been involved in the previous battle. If it weren't for looking at the somewhat tragic defeat wound, who would have known that Qing Luo was one of the main participants in this gunfight? Absolutely not, but the reality is that the other party happened to be an important participant in this. The words of Qing Luo made Su Xiaoxiao a little tempted. This kind of thing is absolutely not impossible. Just think about it. Forget it, there are no bullets in Su Xiaoxiao's gun barrel. She is now in sage mode. If that's the case, even if one's magic is not exhausted, their body will still be exhausted. That kind of thing is absolutely not allowed. Qing Luo doesn't care, she is very interested in Su Xiaoxiao now. Before her interest disappears, she doesn't care what the other person wants to do. Hee. Master of the miscellaneous fish, your expression is a bit hesitant. It's probably because you're afraid. You're afraid of a man named Zenlolai who will be forced from a difficult situation to something you completely feel unfamiliar with. Don't you feel embarrassed? Qing Luo said with a mischievous smile, and the joy in her eyes grew stronger and stronger. Ha! Su Xiaoxiao's anger was immediately stirred up in her heart. This seems to be within the expectations of Qing Luo. Chapter 9. Birth. You are listening at novel full.audio. Su Xiaoxiao actually made some moves while shooting. The pregnant belly of Qing Luo instantly swells up. In an instant, the pregnant belly was bigger than the whole person of Qing Luo. It has become very big, and in the eyes that are clear and shocked at this moment, the child inside is desperately patting his belly. This degree is really too amazing, making it difficult for me to imagine what kind of life there is inside. What the other party is doing is completely different from what they understand. This is really interesting, such an interesting scene, but it must be accumulated well before it can be done. The joy in the heart spreads in the mind. Qingluo's petite body was completely unable to resist her pregnant belly, and she lay powerless in bed, being held tightly by Su Xiaoxiao. What have you done to me on earth? Green snails roast. It's very simple, it's just a simple modification of your body. You can perfectly inherit my huge magic and make a special modification so that your body can't be damaged no matter what. Su Xiaoxiao said with a mischievous smile. At the same time, it's just that your baby is slowly taking shape and attempting to break through his belly. The scene suddenly spread before my eyes, extremely bloody. Half of Qingluo's body was cracking at this moment, and a pink flesh and blood girl slowly appeared inside her body. Countless pink tentacles form a gentle girl. Pink. Long hair, delicate and soft. The baby's chubby face curiously observed the world. At the same time, Qingluo's body twisted countless blood and flesh tissues together in the moment of explosion, slowly turning into a huge ball of flesh. This huge ball of flesh is constantly twisting and contracting, forming a perfect golden spiral. The newborn daughter just hugged her mother's ball like this, then bit it open, and inside it turned into countless milk like a volcanic eruption. My daughter started swallowing in big gulps like this. Su Xiaoxiao admires this scene with some satisfaction, while at the same time, in the pitch black, you can knead the cracked milk in front of you, knead the torn balls together, and slowly turn them into the original eggs. Su Xiaoxiao walked over and swallowed it in her mouth. At the same time, Su Xiaoxiao's stomach started to grow wildly as she swallowed it, and she also became pregnant. The tentacle daughter, who was eating food at the same time, couldn't help but brighten her eyes as she watched Su Xiaoxiao's mother, who waved like herself, run over. Mom! Mom! My daughter excitedly embraced Su Xiaoxiao's big belly. To be precise, it was the life that Su Xiaoxiao was constantly brewing. In the next second, terrifying power also constantly emerged at this moment, spreading the belly open. The inside had completely transformed into a ferocious flesh and blood nest, and at this moment, the entire basement room suddenly transformed into flesh and blood, enveloped by flesh and blood, forming a mass of flesh and blood in the basement. And the daughter stood in the middle position, as if attracted by something. Countless soft eggs kept sliding down from here. Subsequently, she slowly pulled onto her own body, and countless polyps completely engulfed her daughter's body at this moment. Slowly brewing a brand new life. Chapter 10. Kissing. You are listening at novel full.audio. Thick, warm, shaking. At this moment, the environment at this level is suddenly changing, or in other words, after the grinding slowly affects the two people's bodies, the entire environment seems to have undergone some small changes. Besides affecting the physical mutation, the human mutation now seems to have also affected the surrounding environment, making people feel a bit strange involuntarily. At this moment, countless granulation sprouts were spreading, slowly growing from the daughter's body and the skin on her shoulders. At this moment, my daughter's body feels like it is constantly melting, with endless tentacles constantly popping out of her body and slowly splitting. Next second. The small body of Qing Luo gradually formed a contour, while at this moment, Su Xiaoxiao was touching her belly with the contour of Qing Luo. This feeling is really, incredibly comfortable, at least for Su Xiaoxiao at this moment. Let the green snail give birth to a child, and give birth to the green snail themselves, and let the magic elements of both sides constantly decompose, becoming the main ritual of this cult offering. This level of thing has effectively changed the gap between the two in a certain way. Sure enough, did you give everything you had to a certain deity? After regaining consciousness, Qing Luo looked at the other person thoughtfully. No wonder the so-called system was eaten by you. Are you the evil god or Su Xiaoxiao now? Su Xiaoxiao sneered, instead of caring about such things, it's better to care about yourself. They are becoming a perfect unity. Qing Luo blinked her eyes with an unchanged expression and said, why care about yourself? It doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I'm just interested in you, just wanting to care about you. I care about you. Su Xiaoxiao suddenly felt her heart beating. This guy is too foul and cunning, isn't he? So, I absolutely will obey. Even if you erase my consciousness, even if you integrate my flesh and body into your body, I will never have any resistance. Qing Luo said such hypocritical words, or in other words, Qing Luo at this moment has no fear that humans possess, and just wants to disguise himself as a human. Just this kind of thought, which simply gave rise to such a boiling feeling like a disaster, Su Xiaoxiao took action directly. Since you think so, since you want so much, I'll do whatever it takes, no matter what. Speaking, Su Xiaoxiao directly kissed Qing Luo, causing Qing Luo to open her eyes wide and enjoy the intoxicating, eerie scene at this moment. At this moment, let your perfect body completely blend into Su Xiaoxiao's Qing Luo, and start kissing the other person. This is so reclusive. And at this moment, the green snail at this moment feels countless silver lines popping out, appearing on its snow-white and delicate body, slowly transforming into the body of Xiefeng, also slowly growing countless eyeballs and boiling milk. Consciousness is completely integrated into the other person's body, but at the same time, it seems that some of the other person's soul is also integrated into their own body. At this moment, Qing Luo is Su Xiaoxiao. Still pure Qing Luo no longer wants to think about such issues.